Hey everyone, welcome back to Seven Shepherds Farm. As you saw in the beginning of this video today, we moved the group with lambs into a small, really small bottom field yesterday. And we let them in there for just a little less than a day. And then today we are moving them into this larger bottom field. And we're only giving them half of the bottom field for a few days, and then we'll give them the other half. We really want to save this large open field for whenever they are lambing here in another month. So we mainly want to save this grass, but we have to get them through this huge large field to get them to the next paddock where we want them to spend a lot more time. So that's what we did yesterday. Today we're going to move them into here, but first, before we move them today, we wanted to show you guys what we've been using for a mobile creep feeder for these lambs. These are those 165 that we're gonna hopefully send to market. Of course, we'll keep some to use, but mostly they will be going to market in May, and so we are trying to get them up to that 60-pound range. So this is what we have been taking with us as we move them from paddock to paddock. It takes us about 15 minutes to set this up. It's just some old cattle gates that we took off that we didn't need anymore. So these were literally just laying around the farm, and all of the lambs can hop through the bottom rungs except for some of the bigger ones. And I'll show you, we kind of have like a creep feed gate that the bigger lambs can get through too. So we've just been pulling this small lightweight trailer behind the Pioneer buggy thing, and we just leave it parked out here in the field while they're in this paddock, and then we move it with us. So like I said, these are the gates, tied at the top, tied at the bottom, in all the corners. And then we are using just these old sheep mineral tubs to put lamb starter grower mix that we got from MFA in this little pen that the sheep cannot get in, but the lambs can. So we just fill up the tubs every day, and we have been keeping an eye on them. They definitely get in and out as they please, fill up when they want, and we think it's been working pretty good. The hay feeders worked really good as well. The round bale feeders that we were using with a panel wrapped around the top, they were working as well, but they just were not portable. Like, we would have had to use a tractor to move them every time. So we tried to figure out something that was a little more portable. So,
and we needed more.
Yeah, and we needed more room. You know, just those two feeders, what could we fit in there? Maybe
40 lambs, maybe.
40 lambs total, 20 in each one. I mean, we could probably, there could be at least 50 lambs in this pen at a time, and they don't all eat at the same time. Like I said, they just come and go as they please. We keep them, the containers full. But this is like the bigger lambs can get in the bottom of this way easier. It's a little taller for the bigger lambs, so that's why we made this little gate at the end. So let's see here, we have 4, what are these, 20 foot 16 foot gates that, like I said, we just took off of openings. Yeah, just took them off the pastures as we put up new fence and stuff. Like, they were just gates we didn't need anymore. So yeah, they're super lightweight. We just throw them on the back of this trailer whenever we're done. And like I said, well, Jake's done this in less than 5 minutes. So when we're both doing it, it literally goes so fast. So
I just fill these up and throw them in there.
Yep. So anyways, that's our new creep feeding free pen. Literally spent not $1 on this, just all stuff we had laying around the farm, including the tubs. So anyways, we're all about cheap and easy solutions. All right, well, let's move these sheep into here, and we'll pour some feed in here and show you how they go crazy over coming in here. Okay, so before we move this group with the lambs into this large field, we are just putting some of this lamb starter grower stuff in these little mineral tubs. That way, whenever they move in here, they're ready to come eat if they wish. So it's just easier to get it filled up before they move in here. That way they're not fighting each other while we're filling it up. We've kind of been mixing some just plain soy hulls with this because it seems like they don't eat the lamb starter as well as the soy hulls, so. We are just going to do 5 tubs today because they're calling for storms tonight, so we don't want this to get all wet. We just want to give them kind of what they can eat before then. So just depends. Sometimes we'll do 7 or 8 tubs. Sometimes we'll do 5, just depending on what the weather looks like. Just kind of mix up the soy hulls with the grower pellets. And we are ready to move them in here.
Alright, I'll just call them.
Alright, here we are getting that group with babies.
Sheep, sheep, sheep.
Call them out. This opening, this is like that small bottom field that they've been in. And they are going to a larger bottom field. Now we used to cut hay off all these fields, but we are not cutting hay this year. Just planning on rotating the sheep through it. Better move out of the way here. Oh, that was quick.
They weren't waiting for me anyway, so they're about to run me over.
We didn't even have to hook up the dog feed or anything today. They just ran right through.
That was quick.
So funny, they have plenty of grass in here. It's just that time of year. They know they're going to get moved every day, so they're ready.
Once they get used to moving, then they expect to be moved every day or two. So every time you see them, then they want to move.
Yeah, it's impossible to even come out here and check them without them wanting out the gate whenever we leave.
Yeah. This paddock, they have a lot of clover in the bottom section. It's like 80% red clover in the bottom half, and then the top half is almost all fescue. And then they have like this woods right here where there's probably 4 or 5 acres of this kind of woods where it's just brush. So it'd be kind of interesting to see what they go after first. Odds are, looks like they're going towards the red clover, but it'll be interesting to see what they eat first here. So what they prefer this time of year.
Yeah, we're gonna go move that other group too of 700 yearlings up into like how many acres is that up there in Schubert's?
It's over 50. Yeah, it's over 50 acres.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten a good way to divide it yet. Yeah. We will over time, but right now it's just kind of one big paddock of its own. So we are gonna go up there and move those next. As soon as we pull all the feeders through, we'll go up there and see if these lambs have found the new creep feeder setup. So we'll take you along up to the creep feeder and then to the group of 700. Okay, so we got the dog feeder and the mineral dropped off. Let's check this mineral, see if Pretty sure we filled it up yesterday. Yep, this was the one we filled up yesterday, so they're good on that for a while. So since we did turn them into this bright green bottom field with a lot of clover, we are going to go ahead and give them some soy hulls as well, just to help balance out the rumens a little bit. Make sure they're not just getting too much protein with this green grass and clover. It's hilarious, they have like all this great grass to eat, yet they still come running for plain old soy hulls. See if any of the lambs figure out their feeders over there. Look at that lamb there. He's a whopper. As tall as some of the ewes. This little brown one right here with no ear tag. Oh, there. Those little lambs have remembered where to go. Yep, so this is how the little creek feeder works. Lambs can get in, sheep can't. That way they kind of get their own soy holes and more of them. And like I said, the lamb starter grower stuff too. Whoop. Sorry sheep, you do not fit in there, even though you think you might. See this little guy here, he's fairly good size, so he's probably going to have to go in the creek feeder part. But oh, he fit through. We'll make sure to come out here like first thing in the morning too, to give them some more soy hulls, just like I said, just so that they don't get runny poops and stuff from all the protein of the green grass. Right? Did I say it right?
What's that? I couldn't hear you.
I said we're giving them soy hulls so they don't get too runny of poops from all the protein of the green grass, kind of.
It's basically a trial. It's kind of like giving them hay in the spring to keep them from getting too much protein on that green grass to where they just poop everything out right off the bat. We're trying to just kind of solidify their manure and balance out their rumen with this soy hulls. So it's almost like giving them hay, except for they actually will eat this. Where if I put a hay bale out here, they wouldn't touch it. So it's kind of like doing that just to, like I said, balance out the rumen, because otherwise everything's so green and so high in protein right now that they'll have such runny poops that technically they could actually lose weight if they get on too high a protein grass. So yeah, the idea is just to balance everything out. So hopefully they'll really pack on a lot of weight doing both of these.
Look at all the lambs over here in the feeder. It's funny, whenever we use this feeder for like the first time, actually for like the first week, we maybe had like 20 lambs using it, and now they all use it. It's kind of funny to see how many of them go in and out of there during the day. But yeah, we couldn't be happier with this idea of a creek feeder. Like, we've never used a creek feeder for lambs before. So we had looked up a lot of ideas on things to use, but for something we just threw together, that didn't cost us anything. This is just a really good idea for somebody maybe just starting out, somebody who doesn't have a lot of money in their budget. Just get you some old lightweight cattle gates, and if you have any kind of small trailer sitting around, or put them on the back of your truck and bring that around. We just happen to already have this small trailer at our house, so that's what we used. But hopefully they pack it on. We really need them to weigh 60 pounds by May 23rd, so they're working on it. If anybody's looking for ram lambs and you want to buy some directly, just reach out, but otherwise they're going to market May 23rd.
Well, the lambs figured out where their feed is.
Yeah, I was showing them that.
They like to eat this too, but
they realized it's a lot easier not to fight their moms and just go and eat on their own.
Yeah.
I was saying too, like the first week that we had this thing, there was probably 20 of them maybe that had figured it out, and now they've all figured it out.
Yeah, they've all figured it out.
It's funny, they know how much to eat. They go in, they eat till they're full, then they head out. Like those two are already done. They're headed back out.
Yeah. Well, that's the nice thing about these soy hulls. They cannot eat too much.
Right.
They can't overdo it on soy hulls. They're only 9% protein. So it's just a really good filler to kind of balance everything out. Because that other feed that we gave them was 15% protein. So if they ate all of that they wanted, I mean, I guess they could overdo it and founder, I guess, or die from that. But with all the soy hulls we're giving them, that we haven't had any issues with that yet. So.
All right. Well, I guess we'll go back and move that group of 700 yearlings. They are getting very close to lambing, so we want to put them in that 50-acre patch for, I don't know, a week.
A few days, yeah.
A few days until our first lamb drops. Once that first lamb drops, they're getting out of there. There's too many woods for them to hide in, and we want to be able to keep an eye on them lambing. I mean, we're not going to be involved with it, but we want to at least be able to keep an eye on them.
Right.
So we want to just turn them in there for a few days, since that's the part of the rotation where they're at, and then we're going to move them on from there into more open fields.
Yep.
So, all right,
plan.
Let's head back there. Okay, so here's that large group of yearlings. They're in this, I don't know, it's a large hayfield again. The hill here, and wake these up. It's the afternoon, so there's plenty of them taking their afternoon nap right now. Sheep, sheep, sheep. Sheep, sheep, sheep. These all followed me up the hill naturally. Frodo, let's go, buddy. He's not happy I woke him up from his afternoon nap too. Come on, girls, let's go now. There they come. Finally. Let's go, girls. Come on now. It's amazing. So they've been in like these paddocks with creeks a lot lately, and it's been raining a lot, so we have a lot of water, and it's amazing how much more used to like crossing water they're getting, which is really nice. Whoops, I better get back on my phone. So up here is where we're gonna be moving them. But for right now, as you can kind of see, it's like a really sharp bend from where they're going right here into this gate right here. And if we would like just turn them from around this corner into the gate, we would end up with a lot of problems because a lot of them would go up this right side right here and they'd be on the wrong side of the fence. So I'm going to try to call them all the way to the back of this smaller bottom field where they just were, and then we'll turn them around and then call them through the gate. So anyways, I'm going to get them to the back of this patch first. It's kind of a fine line. I want them to travel to the back of this little paddock here, this little hay field, but I don't want them to go too close to this fence right here. I don't want them to think that we're moving that way because we're not, so kind of just trying to be in the middle, enough away from that gate to where they'll turn around and follow me into this hillside right here. Alright, so Jake and Michael are over here. They're going to go ahead and put up just like a little temporary reel.
I'll put one a little farther down here. That's just a dummy fence so they don't run past the gate and up that hill. Back the wrong side.
You mean? Oh, yeah.
You know?
Side too, right.
Yeah.
Jake has his... Alright, let's go call him up. Dog food. Hey, sheep, sheep, sheep. Come on, girls. And boys. There they come. This is that little temporary reel Jake put up this whole Needing a little encouragement today. Typically we never have anybody like pushing behind them unless we're moving them a long distance, but like I said, it's late in the afternoon. It's about 85 degrees. They're a little warm. They had plenty of grass left, so they're just not really in the mood to get up and go, I guess. Lots of fences for them to get stuck behind in this little patch.
Oh.
There's a bunch of rams out there. They're like in your pocket type of rams. Alright, they're all in. Well, one of many moves this week, but like I said, this is like about 50 acres. We would like to leave them in here for several days just to ease off since we know they won't be going back in here for a long time. Since they're all going to have their babies soon, so we won't be using this again for a while. So we're just going to eat what we can while we're here, and then they probably won't be back in here for a few months. So, well, thanks for following along on a few moves today, and we look forward to showing you many more this spring.
It's hard to get in.
Thanks for following along on Seven Shepherds Farm. See you next time.